Is the 12V high power connector finally on its way out? Well, Asus of all people have come up with a new power connector for graphics cards finally, though whether this will pick up mainstream adoption or remain a small niche of Asus products remains to be seen. But let's dive in and check out the new BTF connector from Asus. Hey, what's going on guys? My name is Madison Charlton from MLC Tech, and now it's no secret that the 12V high power connector has been an absolute disaster since when it first came out, with repeated reliability issues, with the connector not always being seated properly despite how much you try and plug it in, causing in some extreme cases GPUs to start smoking and melting, to other reliability issues such as with the sense pins on this connector. Overall, it hasn't been a great experience with this connector. Despite not being personally affected by this issue, I am using a cable directly from a Corsair power supply into my graphics card, and that has been perfect, though I consider myself one of the lucky ones in that regard. But Asus may have finally come up to a solution to having to use this power connector. Now, Asus isn't exactly new to reconfiguring power connectors. For example, they have what they call BTF on their motherboards, which is where they move the power connectors to route power behind the motherboard, opposed to having to plug directly in top of it. And Asus has carried over this mindset over to graphics cards as well now. So this new BTF connector for graphics cards eliminates the need for external power cables to be plugged directly into the GPU. And instead the power is supplied by a connector directly on the motherboard itself. And this power connector will be in line with the PCI-e socket itself, so if anything it will feel like that Asus are just simply extending the PCI connectivity slot. I think this is a pretty cool concept, and Asus claims that this can deliver up to 600 watts of power, which if stacks up to be true, I think this is pretty impressive. For now, Asus are only launching 2 graphics cards with this power connector, and that being the BTF 4090 Strix and also a 4070 Super Tough. And these cards will have no 12V high power in sight. While this is a really cool technology and concept that Asus are bringing to market, it's not going to be widely available for most people just to buy up a new graphics card and use this power connector. You do also have to buy a motherboard with the power connector on, which is a very niche product at the moment. Asus are claiming that they are collaborating with other companies to bring this concept to more products overall. And you do also have to make sure that if you were to buy a motherboard with this connector, that there is also enough space. Because of how Asus are doing these new connectors, it actually makes the motherboard a little wider, so you're going to have to make sure there's enough clearance in your case as well for that. But it is also important to note, while Asus are trying to get this standard adopted by more companies, currently no other GPU brand has expressed interest to support this concept. So it's very likely that this product's going to remain a small niche product for only a select few people. While I think that this is a really cool concept and idea, I don't think we're going to see it reach mainstream popularity anytime soon. That's only going to come when we actually have official ratified standards from ATX and PCIe themselves. Whereas Asus are trying to pioneer new special connectors, we're not going to see widespread adoption until new official standards are ratified the way I mentioned earlier. But this is a good step in the right direction. With new standards of ATX trying to slim down the amount of power connectors needed for a system, with more powerful components being routed through the motherboard itself, I think this is a great concept and great idea to how we get there with GPUs as well. We've already made great progress with new ATX 3.0 standards on how we power the motherboard, how we power peripheral devices and drives, etc. But we still need to figure out the mainstream solution for GPU support. Now, Asus technically do have a small workaround if you buy this graphics card without having a BTF compatible motherboard. They do have a 12V high power to BTF adapter available, but this is mainly designed for people with motherboards such as ITX, which aren't as wide as traditional ATX motherboards. So this could be a great solution for small form factor builds, for example. But to achieve this, you still have to use the 12V high power cable, so it sort of makes buying one of these cards irrelevant to begin with. At this moment in time, there is no available information on the pricing and release date of these GPUs and motherboards, though Asus said they will release more details on these products in the near future. And Asus is also claiming that there are going to be more cases available to support this new standard that they're pioneering. For more cases from brands such as Aerocool, Be Quiet, Cooler Master, Corsair, Inwin, Lee & Fantech, Silverstone and Thermaltake in the first quarter of the year. So it's great to see that there are a bunch of brands trying to get on board to support this new standard. However, the product stack from these companies are going to be very limited, and you're probably going to see a hefty price premium just on the simple premise of scaling production. They're not going to produce products for this standard in as much volume as they would with their other counterparts. So for this reason, you're probably going to pay a price premium to get these new graphics cards, motherboards and cases. But I am super excited to see where this new technology will take us. Will this be a small short-lived victory for Asus and these parts slowly sizzle out again? Or will this pave the new way for PCIe and ATX standards in the near future? It remains to be seen, but I do hope that we go towards the future of having less power connectors needed for our PC systems, so they can look even cleaner and sleeker while also being more reliable on the power connectors themselves, which will also improve safety standards for these high powered cards. Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below on this topic, and where do you see the future of GPU connectors going? Anyway, I have been Madison Charlton from MLC Tech. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you've enjoyed it in any way, shape or form, make sure to give it a like and maybe consider subscribing for more content like this in the future. Thank you once again for watching, and I hope to see you in another video soon. Goodbye.